Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Rodriguez versus Lemos. There's nothing crazy to talk about on this card. Just some slight niggles on the scorecards. No injustices, no one got robbed. We'll go straight to the honorable mentions. First honorable mention is Sholinian versus Munoz. I scored this fight at 30-27. You read the breakdown. Okay. First round, Munoz outstruck Sholinian. Second round, same exact thing. Munoz outstruck Sholinian. And then the third round, it got a little interesting where Sholinian was starting to kind of barely outstruck him on the feet. But you couldn't be too sure about that. It was kind of close on strikes a little bit. He was outstriking him, and then towards the end, Munoz kind of composed himself and was landing shots to kind of even up the strikes there on the feet. But what really gave him the round was he then proceeded to get 2 takedowns at the end, and that secured the round for him. You go to the judges' scorecards. Saul D'Amato had it 29-28. Honorable mention for him. He gave the last round to Sholin. I understand why, but he just gave no. Towards the end, the strikes were significant. If this were a situation where Sholin had outstruck him on the feet, then I'd get the scorecard. But I disagree with the scorecard, bad scorecard, because, like I said before, Sholin got taken down twice at the end, and the strikes were pretty even in that third round. So honorable mention to him. Junichiro Kamijo had a 30-27, and Chris Lee also had a 30-27, all from Munoz. Next honorable mention. We go to Maverick versus Young. Quick commentary. It's kind of weird that Maverick is even fighting Young. It's insane she's actually fighting Young. No offense to Young, but she's much better than her. But, it is what it is. We move on. 30-26 is what I had it for Maverick, giving her 10-8 in the last round. You know me, I'm not keen on giving 10-8s, but in this scenario, when we read down the breakdown in the first round, it was before the takedown. Young had outstruck Maverick kind of barely. It was kind of interesting. I was actually really surprised. In my head, I was like, this is not supposed to be happening. Young outstruck Maverick barely, on the feet, that is. And then Maverick had gotten a takedown with a little bit of ground and pound to really secure the round for her. Then you go to the second round. Maverick had 2 takedowns with ground and pound with each takedown. And then the third round is where the 10-8 comes in. Possible 10-8. You could have given a 10-9 based off the level of strikes, but it doesn't matter because she had 2 takedowns on this round and she was given ground and pound throughout the entire round. It's a 10-8. And we go to the judges' scorecards, where Mike Bell had a 30-26, Eric Colon had a 30-26, Junichiro Kamijo had a 30-26. All 3 judges had it the same way with giving the 10-8 in that last round. All right, and then we go to the last honorable mention, which I was surprised to see, is Rodriguez versus Lemos. This fight ended in a TKO for Lemos. In the first round, I gave a 10-9 to Rodriguez. In the second round, I gave a 10-9 to Lemos. In that first round, it was close on the feet. I was leaning towards Lemos up until she fumbled the takedown, because she was barely outstriking her, and she was more active on the feet. She fumbles the takedown. Rodriguez gets that takedown and lands a couple shots down there to really secure the round for her. Second round, Lemos outstruck Rodriguez on the feet, had a takedown. I was scared for a second because when I say she outstruck her on the feet, she outstruck her by maybe 3 to 4 strikes, sure. And then when she gets down to the bottom, when she gets the takedown, she decides to just barely throw. I was watching that carefully because in my head I'm thinking, okay, she gets down to the bottom. Rodriguez is is pretty active on the bottom, but she's not And when I say fairly active, I mean she landed like a flurry of shots and then she kind of stops. And the only saving grace for that bottom position is Lemos lands some strikes there, some occasional strikes, and then towards the end she also lands some occasional strikes, but it's nothing super significant. And then the only saving grace is the obvious submission attempt. It's not a legit submission attempt in the sense that like it was in, but it's a submission attempt in the sense that it was a crank. So there's that. You go to the judges' scorecards, which I was surprised to see. Derek clearly, he had it the same way I had it. Junior Cormijo, he had the same way I had it, in that both gave the first for Rodriguez and the second for Lemos. And then Saul D'Amata gave the first for Lemos and the second for Lemos. Understandable on the second. The first, honorable mention, makes no sense. Come on. That's just a bad one right there. That is all we have. This is a quick episode. It was almost an immaculate scorecard. There were a lot of finishes in this one, but it was just one of those cards where you're just like, okay, cool. Again, thank you for listening, and God bless.